Madhukar, what would you say is the heart of your message?
The very core of my message is you are peace, you are love, you are happiness.
There are old traditions in the East and also in the West that hold enlightenment as the final goal of the evolution of the person. Is this the same goal that you are talking about?
Well, also what I point at is part of a very old tradition, the Advaita tradition, but it differs to the traditional yogic aim or goal of enlightenment. What we are is not something which we attain at a later point. What we are is called natural being, natural self. So it's not something which we attain after some practice, years of meditation or yoga, like the other traditions mostly prescribe, that you have to practice something, that you have to do something, and then at a certain point you reach stages. And one stage would be, or a final stage would be enlightenment. But I say everything which comes or goes cannot be absolute truth. Therefore what I point at might be different than these traditions prescribe, because it has nothing to do with a state. It is this underlying truth, presence, what always is. I could call it the heart.
Sometimes you also talk about it in terms of total freedom, but from a normal point of view, isn't a certain kind of bondage desirable, like to friends or family?
Well, if this is meant to happen, it will happen that there are friends or there is family. There's no problem with having friends and to be within a family. That's very beautiful. If this is lived in a wonderful, respectful way, why not? No problem. I don't say that you have to cut your bondages, or that you're not allowed to have a family, or that you should not have friends. Definitely not. So there have been, over thousands of years, people who have been absolutely alone and realized their own true self. But there have also been people who have been within a family. For example, my master was a family man. He had a wife and kids, and still, nevertheless, he could realize who he is. So it's not a hindrance to have a family or friends. It's good to have noble friends, like Buddha said. The halfway to enlightenment is noble company, noble friends. So it's good to stay around noble people, good people. That is positive.
So what would be the difference in action or in thinking between a person who has awakened to that truth to an ordinary person who is not awakened to this?
We cannot define that, how the behavior would be, how the action would be. You cannot say how a awakened being acts. It's not, he or she is free, so we never know. Like I never know how I am active or inactive in future. I have no idea. I don't trouble myself with any kind of concept or any kind of ethics or morality, how I have to behave. Why? Because there is full trust that what is good, and what will be also is good, and what has been also is good. So I don't, as I say, don't limit myself to a certain idea how I should behave or how I not should behave. This belongs to religions. They tell you, you have to behave like this, don't behave like that. This is good, this is bad. But truth doesn't have these limitations. So we never know what will happen or not happen. What certainly you can see as a difference is that the awakened knows. What is this kind of knowledge? It's not the knowledge which is a normal, ordinary human knowledge. It's something indescribable, and it leads instantly to being not identified with the body and with the mind. What mind presents us as reality, presents it as truth. There is no identification with that. That might be the difference, because when we speak about so-called ordinary person, is absolutely identified with body and with the person, manifesting in form of thoughts, manifesting in forms of emotions, and so on. So that might be the difference, that there is not this identification. But the behavior could be exactly the same. That differs. Some awakened, renounced, for example. They went to the jungle, they stayed alone with themselves. Others continued their life, maybe having their functions like they had before, and just lived like ordinary men. Only something was, at least for some people, obvious. They got attracted to this being. Why? Because some mysterious quality is there. People